All right. So, hi, Seneca.
Hi,
And it's Seneca Shorbon,
Sherbin rhymes with bourbon.
Sherbin. And you are with Freedom Flowers,
I am.
and you're the
So,
founder and the owner.
we're a little company in Idaho, and you're in Mount Shasta, which is like the mecca for flower essences.
I've been finding, you should see my pantry. I started casually, because as you know, I'm an herbalist, but I started doing casually so that I could drop some into my formulas. And it just doesn't end everywhere I go. It's finally starting to calm down. I think I've gotten most of what I want, but yeah, we have a lot. And what about you? Are you in Northern Idaho?
I'm in North Central.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm not by anything. People ask me, "Oh, is that by?" No, it's not.
Is it?
We're bordered
I
by three
lived in
different
Coeur
river
d'Alene.
districts.
Are
Yeah,
you
it's
like out in the boondocks?
yes,
And so where's Coeur d'Alene from where you are?
about 4 hours.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I lived up there for about a year. So
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
yeah. So today I wanted to talk to you about maybe a brief introduction of your company, and then talk about flower essences and how you approach that, science and art, and maybe a little bit of history on that. I came across your website when I was looking for moonshine yarrow, and because I already had like golden yarrow and then the regular white yarrow essenced up, and I wanted to be able to have access to it, or at least direct people to the moonshine yarrow. And then I was really taken with your website and your process, so I'd like to know more about that.
Okay. Well, let's see, I started when I was probably about 5 years old, and I didn't have like a particularly holistic minded family or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
They were pretty normal, we ate decent, but that's about it. So I don't know, it just, was going by the spirit and playing with flowers as little girls do. And figured out some things. My dad was a photographer, so we had a lot of empty film canisters laying around. So I would bottle those in that and sell them for 75 cents. I had like a whole setup on top of our Cadillac, which was parked in the driveway by the road. Not that anybody goes down our road, but that was my first little stand and Freedom Flowers origin story, I suppose.
Okay.
Pretty soon I thought, oh, that's just stupid kid stuff, and abandoned that for about 20 years or so, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of came back around to it in my late 20s, mid 20s, somewhere in there.
Okay. And did you have any kind of herbalist training, or did you, well, that's maybe a separate question, but were you first drawn to the Bach flower remedies, and did you go from there, or how did you access that knowledge within and support it from without?
Oh, I didn't know anything about Bach. I didn't know it existed for a really long time. So, um, the herbalism question, I got way into herbs when I was a teenager because
Mm-hmm.
we lived in the woods and there was just stuff everywhere. So I started learning about wild edibles because my brother-in-law had this extensive library on books on all kinds of different things. And it was just so fun to go in there and read all
Mm-hmm.
kinds of different topics. So he had different foraging things and herbalism things. And you would never know it to know him.
Mm-hmm.
But that was where I really got started into natural health and stuff like
Okay.
that.
Okay. And then that sort of leads into one question I have. So you weren't really super aware of Bach, and
Not in the beginning. And then I found
uh,
out it was an actual thing, that other people do.
yeah,
Not me.
don't you love that? I
Yes.
love that. And sometimes you want to just keep it as pure as possible,
Yeah.
without getting too many
Yeah.
influences mixed in. Um, so for me, like, part of the fascination with flower essences is, one, they are 100% ethereal, energetic, vibrational medicine, if you will. And I think that a lot of people don't quite understand that there's actually not the properties, the medicinal properties of the plant aren't exactly drawn into the water. It's the vibration only.
And even when they understand that, they still have that mindset of like herbal dilution or something like that, strength, I have to have
like
many
it's a homeopathic version.
I have to dilute it in this much water. No, you really don't. It's frequency.
It's frequency.
Yeah.
And so, and to me, that just ties into so many things. One being that the truest form of healing is done from within, with the support, of course, and love of the universe and creator. And I think that flower essences really prove that point, that you can take this essence and it works on the energetic blueprint of the body, and it sort of catalyzes all of these healing actions within the physical body as well.
Yeah, well, they're an incredible gift, from creator, because we weren't just left down here with just herbs and just food. There's actually stuff for our soul and our spirit too.
Yep. And so how long, one of the things that really caught my eye when I first saw your website, because like I said, I've been playing with essences and I've been an herbalist for quite some time, been tincturing since I can remember, at least since my young adult years.
And you can oh yes.
Yeah. And I actually I prefer now when I tincture to put the plant in the water first and let that have its time, and then I add alcohol so I don't shock. And I think that flower essences are really similar in that sense, but how long does it take? And back to my point, I was very intrigued when I read that you just watch the water and when the flower has imparted its vibrational essence into the water, because I've always been like, how long does it really take? And A, and then B, can it be too long? What if I left it overnight, which I have done some moon essences.
I don't think it's as great overnight, but I've left it overnight too. But then you get into things like Indian pipe, which you have to do in moonlight. That's about as much as it can take. Yeah, it's kind of variable, and it's something to keep playing with, those night blooming flowers and things like that. So I've seen it not take very long at all, but I like to leave it a while. I think that the sun does something that we just don't fully understand yet.
Okay, so 2-3 hours.
Yeah, I like to go at least 4
hours.
But yeah, I've seen it hit almost in 5 minutes too. I did some Japanese knotweed that, I was seeing a white glow coming off of that really soon. It was just, I barely even got it done.
And then can you see, do you see that particular signature? Is every signature different as it enters the water?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't necessarily see all of the variants in what we know is different about each flower, but I'll either see generally a white light or a gold light.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
So yeah, it's not as nuanced as what it should be, but
yeah. And so what if you do leave it in too long? What happens to does it become clouded or just less vibrant?
It just loses something. It doesn't glisten anymore. I don't know.
Okay.
It might still be good, but
it's more into the herbalist, a tincture.
Well, I don't know about that either, because it still doesn't have the biochemical stuff that a tincture would have.
I've done some where I will do the flower essence and I'll pour some off, and then I'll put more of the herb in, like the whole plant I like to do. And then keep part of it. Yeah. And then I separate it out and then I continue the process and do like a moon cycle for the tinctures.
Yeah, there's something really important about the whole herb, and I would not leave out the flower in that too, now that I think about it. Nobody talks
Exactly.
about that, but
I like to like with dandelion, I like to do the root and the leaf,
yeah.
the whole thing. And you know, if there aren't a lot of dandelion flowers, as long as I have a few, I feel like the signature is able to get in there.
Yeah.
And so, you know about the doctrine of signatures. And well, like for me, when I'm just a novice at this, so I'm just happily doing things completely intuitively. But how do you find, like for me, it's the signature of the plant, it's where it grows, it's the color, and I'll connect that to the chakras. It's you know, just the habitat, the environment, its personality, how it's growing. Is it growing low to the ground? Is it reaching up?
Right.
All sorts of things like that. But it's also a little bit of a personal exchange. Like I'm feeling this way and I feel like this flower is impacting my state of mind and my emotions, or if there's a certain cycle of moon time, I'll take that into consideration too. So I have like, right now I have like 3 different manzanita flower essences, just because they vary. And so how do you determine the signature?
I'm not great with doctrine of signatures, actually. I think everybody's different and everybody's gifted a little bit differently. So if I see something and the doctrine of signatures is getting my attention there, then I'll definitely go with that. But a lot of times I'm looking at the names, I'm looking at the common names, the folklore around it too. You know, whatever my attention gets drawn to, I think is a place to start digging.
Okay.
And then, you know, a lot of testing, and we have guinea pigs that help us out with that.
Yeah. And would you say that every flower essence, it's like, you know, they say you never step into the same river twice, and I think that a lot of flower essences affect people differently and at different times in their lives as well.
Definitely. I think we know this much, even, you know, let's say we know dandelion because we've been talking about dandelion. We know what dandelion does. Well, we know that much of what dandelion does.
Yeah, right.
We know enough to get started and use it well, but not
exactly. It's an exploration, and I think that it's a personal journey as well.
Yeah.
So and so
yeah, when I teach the practitioner training, you know, and I will encourage them to take the essences individually and get to know them, because, you know, what I write down in my little paragraphs is just, it's not the same as actually experiencing it. So
yes. And that reminds me, I owned a massage school and I taught aromatherapy, and I remember reading somewhere, and we would do these circles and I would just give people the essential oils and then have them smell them and then write down their impressions. And it was incredible to see how the group could pick up the so-called medicinal properties of the essential oils just from smelling them, and having, I would have them hold it, you know, first. But I remember reading somewhere that essential oils are like the blood of the plant and that flower essences are like the soul. So
makes sense. Yeah.
And so how much does like for instance, dandelions properties from the perspective of herbalism, it's a great detoxifier. And then I see it as sort of like a plant of bravery with the flower and its ability to grow, and it's
everywhere.
It's everywhere. Like, it's excitement and it's sort of like I can't think of the word, but it's like the Fool card in the tarot. Like it will just grow wherever it can. It will grow in a place where it's like not going to
Yep.
be okay. You know?
Sidewalk, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Love lawns, yeah.
You're like,
I
have
don't know.
good luck with that. But it is
Go
really
all over
neat.
this country, you can go to other countries, there's dandelions.
Yep. And I love that. I love
Yeah.
that, that so many of the so-called weeds exist on pretty much every continent except Antarctica. So with the medicinal properties of dandelion, so when I use it, so I'm involved with, you know, detoxification and healing and that kind of thing. So dandelion comes up a lot in that field. And my question is, are the spiritual properties similar to the physical properties?
I haven't seen it, but I wonder that too, because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of cases there is some link. Like milk thistle is a lot more closely linked for, herbally it's for detoxification of the liver,
Mm-hmm.
and flower essence wise, it's detoxing the toxic emotions that your liver is stored.
Okay.
So, putting the essence along with the herbal tincture would be a
Mm-hmm.
really good idea.
Yeah.
And I just want to believe that about dandelion too. I think I do believe that a little bit about echinacea.
Uh-huh.
So
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe we just don't understand dandelion well enough.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I mean, primarily I see it as liver and kidneys, but you're right. I think it must affect the blood and the lymphatic system. It's an all healing plant, I believe, dandelion, and plus you can eat it, so I think that has added value. And then so say something like burdock would be, is it traditionally or herbally speaking, it's used for the blood
Hmm.
or purification.
Yeah. And that's another one too that we're finding is detoxifying.
Mm-hmm.
It's cutting the bonds between heavy metals and the emotions that are holding them in the body.
Okay. So I have been really, as you know, I've been really fascinated. I do mix my tinctures with flower essences and to create like a whole, and I know you're working with so much of that as well. Um,
A little differently than the way you do it, which
a
is
little differently, and yeah, because I do appreciate when the fact that it's pure water holding that frequency. I think it's a little bit more pure, and so when I do mix my flower essences, I like to keep it pretty simple. Like I'll drop them in, you know, only a certain amount. And so how many plants do you think a system, a body system, can work with before it becomes overwhelmed and confused?
well, we like to say 7 as a rule of thumb for essences.
Mm-hmm.
You said body system, which I think is different. And I'm not really sure. This is new to me, so I'm going carefully and slowly.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about it, the foods that we take in during a day, they have so many different compounds in them, so many different little healing aspects just in the food.
Mm-hmm.
You start throwing some spices into that, and there's even more.
Mm-hmm.
And our bodies seem capable of processing all that. However, I also think that if you're going after some sort of disease component, or, you know, when I say disease, that's probably too harsh of a word, but some sort of dysfunction,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that it subdivides your body's healing process if you're going after more than one thing at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you keep it related, like you focus entirely on the digestive system, which has different organs in it, then
Mm-hmm.
that might be fine and dandy to go after your stomach and your intestines and your gallbladder and
Your
all of
solar
those things.
plexus, the
Yeah,
Anapura chakra. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm figuring out those parameters and trying to navigate that, because
Mm-hmm.
our customers want to go hog wild, and I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. And I noticed that you have, are you still doing free samples? And I'm going to, for anybody watching, I will put the link to your website in the description box.
Yeah.
But last time I was on your website, I love your website. I love the little chat bot. It's so cute. And I saw that you were doing free samples for people.
Yes. We're doing free samples to the US.
Okay.
They
Hmm.
can't shipping elsewhere, you know. We have a shipping charge of like $3.50 for the free sample.
Hmm.
And, you know, other countries it just gets outrageous to add that on.
Yeah. Yeah. And plus the labor and all
Oh
that.
yeah. Yeah, we're going in the hole on this, but
Yeah, but you're getting a lot of people hopefully to
yes, we
find you.
can do it because we are that confident in our product.
Yeah. And so how many years have you had the company?
I think I started in 2008 and then I shut down for a little while because it got too much too soon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, then I rebrand in 2012. So,
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, I think in terms of like my work with detox and healing, just back to your pondering about, one body system at a time, or is there a pathway? For us, we usually focus on getting the kidneys filtering because that's the main avenue of elimination.
mhm.
Arguably, maybe perhaps the most important avenue of elimination, as they filter the blood and the lymph as well. And so we have like sort of like start with your kidneys and then work on the lymphatic system. And then, so I'm wondering, like, with your company, if you could have like a timeline for people, and you could say, if you want to do a
Yeah,
detox, you start here and you work through. You don't have to take everything all at once.
right. Well, and we have everything all at once in our detox drops. We went for kidney, lymphatic, liver.
And so tell me about those.
Yeah, that was one of our early bioessence ones, which bioessence is a term that we just made up for a combination of flower essences, hertz frequencies, and frequencies of nutrients. So I wish
Okay.
I don't know if I have it here to say what all's in that, but I know we went after all of the detox systems. I'm going to turn around and talk to the camera.
So you did each system at a
So,
time.
no, we put it all in
Well,
there.
you put it all in there.
They just,
Okay.
okay, we're going to go through all the detox channels, and
Yep.
we got burdock in there for the heavy metals.
Okay.
And yeah.
Oh, I love that. So for anyone listening, one of my fascinations, and one of the other reasons I wanted to talk to you, is just to really kind of look at when people are detoxing and healing in a very physical sense, we usually hit roadblocks. And so I
Yeah.
want to talk about that, and then, but also just to say that would be ideal, because the roadblocks are most often energetic, spiritual, emotional, family lineage things. We're going and we're going and we're going and we're doing our herbs, and we like to do, for the most part, fruits and vegetables when we're detoxing. And so I think that would be an amazing adjunct to add, like a full body spiritual detoxification, and not just spiritual, but in the emotional bodies and in the mental bodies as well.
Yeah. That's where it gets really fine-tuned and individualized
Mm-hmm.
because man, everybody's got their things that they're hanging on to, and
Mm-hmm.
it's different for each person. And, family lines, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm. But you do have one bioessence blend that works with detox, and
Yeah,
it's the blood, it's the heavy metals, it's the liver, it's the kidney,
yeah,
all that.
yeah.
And then what would you say, there's probably a few, but when someone does hit a roadblock and they're stuck, I'm supposing it depends on what exactly that roadblock is and where they're stuck. But is there any one plant or two or three, flower essences that you feel sort of can help someone to have a breakthrough?
Self-heal comes to mind just because
Okay,
it's so, good at giving you the insight as to what's causing the problem. You
excellent. Yes, I agree with that.
Especially because our tendency is always to look external and we want somebody else to tell us what's wrong with us. And well, they
Mm,
don't know. They haven't lived in your body for as long as you have. So
yeah, yeah. And I think that self-heal is, it's very gentle, I would say.
Very, I love it.
And it's almost like I can see it, like it scans the body for you. It's like somebody doing like an energy scan, and then you pick up, once you have the essence in your system, you pick up the right and correct knowledge for the path ahead.
Yeah, that's a good description.
Well, I love that. And how much time do we have?
Oh, we're good.
We're good?
We're talking about starting with the kidneys, and I was gonna say Joe Pye weed for a flower essence would support that, and it would be the
Okay.
herbal, you know, gravel root, the
Okay.
kidney and bladder type stuff.
Okay. I will put those, because I'm still adding your essences to my website, and I have a page on the kidneys. So I'm going to add those to that page.
Oh, I remember your website has got so much information.
It's, oh my gosh,
It's
it's a work
awesome.
in progress.
Yeah, well, they all are.
If you like, even I'm just like, I'm gonna put some herbs up, and then 20 or 30 plants later. So
Yeah, your SEO should be really good at some point.
right, at some point you would think. So oh, that's what I want to talk about. I think we've already touched on that. But to me, when you really understand how flower essences work as a vibrational medicine, and I don't know if have you seen what Tree Frog Farm is doing with their flower essences? They actually just set the water next to the plants and play some music and put some crystals. And
Right, yeah.
so I think that, and just even the fact that what you're saying is it takes sometimes moments for the essence to transfer. I think that's such a great testament to what kind of healing that one can attain just by being in nature.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've had one person that she never bought any essences, but she would always come on and look at what each one does, and she's like, "Oh my goodness, we had a neighbor that had carria and they ripped it all out, and now they're really angry." And I'm like, "Yeah, that was
Wow.
holding that at bay."
Wow.
So yeah.
And then what do you think about people? A lot of times I would just find a flower, or the flower would find me, and I would, like chicory, for instance, has been in my life for the last several years. And moving states and just letting go of a lot of things. And when I see one, I'll just pluck one and just put it in my water, and then just drink that water for the rest of the day. And so you have on your website you have a free ebook.
Well, no, I have.
Or it's an
Well, I
introductory
have that
course.
emotional roots of physical symptoms thing, and then I have
Okay.
the free mini course.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's a little easier to read than a book, I think, because we break it down into emails. So
And then how many flowers do you work with total, or approximately? You're like, besides the 3 that I have over here that I'm about to introduce.
ballpark 150, but I have boxes more of stuff that we just need to test and get out there.
Okay. Okay. And then how much of the globe does your company span in terms of access to flowers?
Well, we have locations here, obviously in Idaho. Then we have one in the UK, one in Australia, and one in South Africa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So are we getting this message? Almost running out of time.
We're going to have to wrap it up.
We're going to have to wrap it up. So yeah, anybody watching, if you're interested in using flower essences to complement and strengthen your journey, you can check out Seneca's website. It's freedomflowers.com. I'll have the link in the description box. And it was really nice talking to you.
Yeah, you too. That's fun.
It was fun, and we'll stay in touch, right?
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate what you do and how you work with plants. So
Well, thank
it's very
you.
cool.
Thank you. I was really excited to gain a little bit of insight from you, and that sort of inspires my journey as well.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll see you next time.
Definitely.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.